Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you what's new in GIMP 3.0 RC1. So here we have the welcome window. Let's come over to the Create tab. And first off, you'll see here it now has a checkbox that says Show on Start, so you can disable this if you don't want to see the welcome window every time. But you can also click on an image and you can either shift click to select all of the images in between, or let's just click on an image, hold the control key and click on an image so you can select multiple images to open up here, and then either hit the enter key on your keyboard or click the open selected image button. One quick thing before I open these up, I do want to note that there's not really a ton of contrast between the color they use for selecting an image and the background color here for images that are not selected. So just as a general piece of UX feedback, I hope that they just make these two a little bit more differentiated. So let's hit the enter key to open these up, and now we have two images. I'm just going to close this one out and work on this image. So an exciting new feature is you can now add layer effects to layer groups. So let's shift click on these two images here because we can now do multi-layer selection, and click and drag these into the layer group. Now let's click on the layer group itself and we'll go to colors, levels, and let's just apply a levels adjustment, and you'll see here it's going to apply this to both of these images simultaneously. So obviously this opens up a whole new world of possibilities because, like in this example where I'm working on a photo manipulation, we can now blend the two photos together by applying effects to both of those images simultaneously. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other use cases for this. Let's click OK. I personally don't see how this isn't the same as having adjustment layers, because like in Photoshop, when you have an adjustment layer, it's going to apply that adjustment to all of the layers below that adjustment layer. This is pretty much doing the same thing. As long as those layers are inside of a group, any effect you're applying to that layer group is going to apply it to all of the images in that group. So as far as I'm concerned, this is as good as adjustment layers. I'm sure adjustment layers have other qualities to them that this does not, so it's not technically the same thing, but I do feel like it does kind of bridge that gap. GIMP 3.0 RC1 now has this effects icon, which replaces the old eyeglasses icon. This one looks a lot better, a lot more professional in my opinion. And of course, it is much more descriptive as to what exactly this feature is. Another new feature is when you copy a layer and paste it, the effects now copy and paste with it. So Control C to copy this, Control V to paste. Let's click on effects. Both the effects are still there. GIMP's tools receive some updates in GIMP 3.0 RC1. Most of these are just going to be minor tweaks. However, a really cool update is that you can now add guides off of your image. So coming over here to the rulers, click and drag, release a guide. You can now drop a guide here on the canvas surrounding the image. This is something that people have been requesting for the longest time. So it's great to see this finally implemented here in GIMP. Also, if I hit the G key and come over here to the tool options, so under repeat here for this tool, this used to be called Truncate. Now this option is called None Truncate. Again, trying to be a bit more descriptive as to what this is actually going to do. So clicking that option and then click and draw a gradient, it's going to create this truncated gradient. In other words, it's not going to repeat, hence why it's called None instead of just Truncate. Another slight tweak is going to be that the Intelligent Scissors tool is now just called the Scissors Select tool, and it's called that consistently throughout GIMP. In the past, GIMP used both terms and it kind of confused users. Now they just use the one term, Scissors Select. And let's come over here and you'll see it right here. It says Scissors Select now. It no longer uses Intelligent Scissors. The Paint Select tool, which is a cool smart selection feature that they've been working on for a few years. I think they put it on the shelf for a little bit. However, now it appears they're back to working on it. It's now going to use the Control and Shift key modifiers. I can't show that in action because they have made this tool hidden inside of GIMP 3.0 RC1. However, it is good news that they haven't totally given up on this tool. I do still think that smart selection is the holy grail. Adobe Photoshop obviously has some smart selection features, and things like selecting objects works really well. Affinity Photo has its own selection features. However, none of these programs do smart selection perfectly. Even with AI implementation, these features still have their problems. So I think the door is still open for GIMP to come in and create a great smart selection tool. The color balance and Hue-Saturation filters now work in the sRGB color space. So let's come over here to this image and go to colors, color balance, So this tool now works in the sRGB color space instead of GIMP RGB, and I believe this is going to be better for color accuracy as well as just getting slightly better color results when you're editing your photos. sRGB is the most common color space for consumer devices, and it's also the standard color space for the web. GIMP has made a concerted effort to improve its color features. I think this is a main focus of GIMP 3.0, is just making sure color accuracy is improved, but also that the color space that GIMP is working in is what people want. Rather than using its own proprietary GIMP RGB color space, it has been working to either convert tools to work in sRGB color spaces or to use Gaggle Color. While I have the color balance dialog open here, another new feature is that you can check this merge filter box, and this allows you to just merge your non-destructive filter onto your image destructively, which was the old way of doing things. So if you did want this to be merged onto your image for some reason, you now have that option. But I'm just going to exit out of here. A couple of final things I want to cover for this video. First of all, GIMP and Darktable's connection should now work once again. Basically what happened is that Darktable version 4.6 or newer no longer worked with GIMP. That's because Darktable updated its API. GIMP's been overhauling its API. Everything just got broken. But with Darktable versions 4.6 or newer, they have now created a dedicated GIMP API, which should fix the connection going forward in the foreseeable future. I will say in my testing, and I am using the GIMP 2.99.19 nightly version, this connection still did not work on Windows 11. Finally, one thing that's really not going to be visible to end users is that the basically entire code base of GIMP 3.0 has been overhauled. And basically just reading some of the developer updates from the GIMP community, it looks like they've really put a lot of effort and a lot of work into making sure that things are just going to work going forward in GIMP 3.0, and also that it's going to be easier for developers to make plugins and help update GIMP. So really, I do think the future is bright for the GNU image manipulation program. All right, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell icon to be notified each time I have a brand new tutorial. You can check out any of the links to my resources in the description, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.